Hi everybody, and welcome to a new bullet journal video. Today I'll set up my second bullet journal for the next half of 2022. The notebook I'll be using is Notebook Therapy's Tsuki Kitsune A5 bullet journal, which feels like it was especially made for me. But of course it's not. So if you'd like to get one for yourself, check out the link in the description box and use my discount code FOXES10 for 10% off your entire purchase at Notebook Therapy. As usual, I start with the key on the backside of the notebook's cover. I actually don't need a key anymore, but my bullet journal setup wouldn't feel complete without it, I guess. I like to keep the main setup of a new journal quite neutral, so I'm going for a crafty and vintage kind of style I'd like to consider minimal, but people who actually know what minimalism is probably won't agree. After I finish the key, I tape down my name on the very first page of the journal, and that's already it for the first spread, if we want to call it like that. I always skip the first dot grid page because it's so inconvenient to use, so that's where I'll put the cute little paper clip in the end. I love to start a new journal with a year at a glance page, and I usually go for a quote or an illustration next to it to set the mood for the journal. Since I'm in an experimental and crafty mood lately, I'm trying a collage this time. I prepared some scrapbooking paper pieces beforehand because otherwise this would have probably ended up in complete chaos if I didn't. Also, I think the setup is quite beginner friendly since it's not really doodle heavy at all. The only part that might require a little bit of drawing skill is the fox. I'm sorry that I didn't film the process of drawing it. I drew foxes like this one about 100 times since it's basically my logo. But if you like to see me draw them, check out my November 2021 setup video where I created a whole theme around these foxes. For my mid-year setups, I usually start the year at a glance overview with the 6 remaining months of the year and then at the first 6 months of the next year. In my head, it makes more sense than writing out calendars of months that are over already. I'm using 3 highlight colors for the setup, which are the Pentel brush cyan pen in pale brown, a Tombow dual brush pen number 942, and the dark brown zebra mild liner. And writing out all these little calendars, I know this is such a cliche and I say this like every single time, but how fast is 2022 going? I'm not joking when I tell you it literally scares me how time is flying by. Can anyone relate? After finishing all the mini calendars, I decided to add some outlines to the collage because I thought it was lacking some contrast, and it also made it look kinda like stitched together, if that makes sense, which I think is very cute. For my future log, I'm going for the same Dutch door layout I used for the first journal of the year, and it's of course inspired by our doodle queen Amanda Rach Lee herself. I really loved how much space it gave me, so I'm doing it again. And just like I did for the year at a glance page, I also start with the next 6 months and then at the first 6 of next year. This way I can write down all the birthdays of my family and friends, which I couldn't if I only planned for the rest of this year, and in my opinion this is a big advantage. Fun fact, for this entire setup I'm not doing hand lettering at all. If you know my channel for a while, you know that I don't really enjoy doing hand lettering because I don't think that I'm any good at it and I'm too lazy to practice. But I do love stamps, so for me the setup is very convenient. Well, it would be very convenient if I wouldn't have to struggle with my glue tape so much. I honestly don't know if I'm using them wrong or if they are just bad, but they break so easily and oftentimes the glue just doesn't attach to the paper or stick anywhere I don't want it to. So if you have any recommendations for other brands that have these kinds of glue tape, please let me know. I'd like to try another one before I give up because I think that the idea is actually really great. And here's another notebook therapy product I'm using for the setup. It's the new Tsuki Light Academia Washi Tape collection, and it matches the overall autumnal aesthetic of the notebook and the setup so well that I couldn't resist using it. Next up is my grid spacing cheat sheet. Many people include different variations of these in their bullet journals nowadays, but I personally got the general idea from Amanda too, and eventually came up with the idea of a loose one I can actually take out and put next to my journal, which made planning new layouts even more convenient. For those of you who don't know what it's good for, this is basically some kind of reference or measuring tool for your bullet journal. If you want to divide your page into thirds, for example, you can put it next to your page and just copy the spaces instead of counting boxes, if that makes sense. Well, I never said I could explain it very well, but at least I tried. The only disadvantage of the separate cheat sheet is that you need some place to put it when you're not using it. Mine is a bit too huge to put into the notebook's back pocket, so I create a kind of strap on an extra page. I already did this for my last setup, and at first I was afraid it wouldn't stay in place, but it works better than I expected actually. If you want to try this too and it doesn't work for you, you can still put an extra paper clip to hold it or create a little pocket like I did for my second journal of 2021. On the page next to it, I'll do some kind of brain dump for content ideas. Just some space to jot down ideas for illustrations or video topics or even bullet journal themes. It's literally just a header though. And we're actually on the last 2 pages for this video. This first one is my things to check out page, inspired by Amanda again. And yeah, if the collage didn't ruin my attempt of a minimalistic setup yet, these next 2 pages are not exactly what I'd call minimalistic either. I'm using some lined paper for the actual list and decorate the spread with washi tapes. The very last page is my "When did I last?" page, where I keep track of some more or less annoying things I have to do every now and then, like cleaning the fridge, for example. I'm using little icons for each task. And every time I finish a task, I draw the specific icon into the little calendar. This way I have a nice visual overview and know exactly when I have to change the water filter again, for example. I don't know how I imagined this page to look, but it didn't turn out as I expected. But I actually like it anyway, so I'm not mad about it. And this is it for the setup. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and feel free to check out my older ones too, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done that yet. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.